This is a series that I've been really interested in, as based on the poster image and just the initial reaction most will have when just scrolling through Ani chart or any of these seasonal charts, you're gonna think it's another magic school series, harem series, it's gonna be nothing extraordinary. But if you look at the description and even the English name for the series, it just kind of stuck out a bit of being this bastard magical instructor teacher. It seemed like it could be like a fun comedy if nothing else, so I went in with a bit of hope. But I did have my expectations rather low because I've seen enough of these high school magic school series to know what they typically do. The cliches, walk in on the girls changing and then the MC gets his ass kicked, the either overpowered main characters like Irregular at the Magic High School, whatever the hell that Madhouse anime was, that the guy was just completely overpowered. You always have these tropes. And I was not expecting what I got with this episode, and I am pleasantly surprised. This is, in all honesty, I have the same reaction that I had with the first episode of the first season of Konosuba. Because Konosuba sets itself up to be just that typical cliches trapped in another world, but Cosma, just the overall reactions were just so over the top, it really was like, okay, they're mocking the trapped in the other world cliches and tropes. And this first episode does the same thing, but it's in a magic school series. This main character, Glenn, he's great. Honestly, Glenn holds this series together. He's probably gonna hold the entire series. But this overall series literally takes every trope that the first episode of pretty much every magic school series that I've seen and makes fun of it, and even has Glenn in the episode just be so self-aware and almost like mocking the other series that have done this, as there's literally a scene in this episode where this lazy ass instructor who is a substitute teacher for the time being, he has no skills as a teacher, he literally just gives everyone self-study and sleeps in class. He literally is a bastard of a teacher. And in one part of the episode, he walks in on the girls changing, and before this, you see a couple of the girls fondling breasts and just it's very cliche and just squirmish. It's just kind of like facepalm. And this is where I kind of lost faith because I was like, this is where it's going completely cliches to help sell the Blu-rays. And instead, the instructor kicks the door in, and instead of getting embarrassed, oh no, I shouldn't see this, he literally says, I'm gonna paraphrase this, but he says, I'm not gonna be like one of those cliche guys who gets all embarrassed and then gets beat up because he got an eyeful. I'm gonna embrace this. I'm going to get that eyeful, and then he gets his ass just thrown to the side. But when I saw that, I was like, thank you. I understand why that fan service is there, because you are trying to sell those Blu-rays, but at least you made fun of it. At least you mocked the trope. At least you had this self-awareness that you knew what you were doing, and you rolled with it the same way Konosuba does with some of its fan service. I love this first episode. Now, granted, this could just kind of lose its charm because this was just such an unexpected surprise, but this series is following a bastard of an instructor who has literally no magic skill, or at least that we know of. I mean, granted, I feel like this is the kind of guy who might have a really useful skill for a very specific scenario, otherwise he's useless, because he gets challenged to a duel by one of these students who just hates him for how lazy he is and how much of a bastard he is. And it's this whole game of basically the way the spells work is there's these chants and phrases that you have to say to summon spells, and they are only allowed to use this one spell. It's like this shock spell, it stuns people, and you're expecting, okay, he's gonna be super strong, he's a lazy asshole, but he's gonna be super strong. He gets his ass kicked. This student literally kicks his ass and makes it look like he has no skills over and over again. And the way the animation works to really give you, even some of the facial designs reminding me a lot of early Konosuba with how Kazuma would just overreact to things, similar to Aqua as well, just Aqua's crazy facial details. And I feel like the series is doing the same thing to really make it more funny than if you were to just read this in the manga or light novel or whatever this is. This was a very entertaining first episode, and based on what I've been seeing with the reaction online, I'm seeing a lot of, this is so bad it's good, and also, I'm surprised this was this entertaining, I want to see more. And for myself, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this is where the tropes gotta be typical trope. Nope, they made it different. Honestly, I think even if you hate these series, I think you might have fun, or at the very least, if you like kind of what Konosuba did for trapped in the other world kind of trope, this is so far doing it. Now granted, it could easily fail later on, but so far, this was a really funny first episode. It really, like, I mean, the characters from the side characters, they are literally cut and paste tropes, but like, just even the side characters we don't even know their names of, just the individual students in the classroom, we see them just react how we would, being like, is this guy for real? Is he seriously this stupid? Like, is he this lazy? Is he this much of a bastard? Now, granted, there might be this overall kind of interesting story later on, as there is this sort of like, there's this woman who got him into the school to be a substitute, and there is this kind of question of maybe he is more skilled than he's letting on, but so far it's literally breaking all of the little tropes and cliches that the first episode of these series do, and I hope it can continue on past this, because I would be fine, totally fine for 12 episodes. All of these magic fighting school series are literally the same with different characters. I am perfectly fine if they do the same thing, but they keep breaking the tropes and making fun of it and having some of that self-aware comedy, because it was really entertaining for me. I mean, if people didn't like the first episode, they're probably not gonna like the rest of this, or the rest of the series, but for myself, like, even when it was like, oh, they're just going pure fan service, like, I stuck with it, but luckily that, like, pure fan service only lasted a brief while to then completely shatter it and make it something that just kind of made it stick out. I actually had a lot of fun with this first episode, and I'm actually really excited for the second episode, and I was questioning, is this going to be a disappointment? Is this going to even be review-worthy? So far for me, I'm having enough fun with this that I'm going to be reviewing the next week's episode. If it fails, well, we're going to be a little disappointed, but overall, I actually had a lot of fun with this first episode. But I'd be interested to hear, what did everyone think of this first episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it was just okay? Because this really just hit my comedy bone very well, and I'm really excited to see more. But let me know your thoughts down in that comment section below, and before you leave, hit that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.